Sony Pictures Entertainment has a new film that they released starring Viola Davis. And Viola Davis is the leader of an all female set of warriors. So it took the number one spot at the domestic box office over the weekend with a surprising 19 million. So they made some money. And the thing about it is that they were not projected to make the kind of money that they made. So that's why we say it was shocking, surprising. The film, the money, like I said, kind of unexpected for a few reasons. So it was projected to bring in around 11 million. So it definitely exceeded expectations. Also, the Woman King is an original, meaning it is not based on a previous piece of intellectual property. You know how they keep remaking stuff over and over again? This is something new. This is something that we hadn't seen before. And most of the movies that they've been making, in case you haven't been paying attention, have been something that we've already seen before. So this was different in that regard. And then it turns out to be a success at the box office. Oh, yeah. Some folks are mad. Some folks are happy, obviously. Now, in modern day Hollywood, to take the box office crown, right, to be the biggest movie of that weekend without being connected to a prior hit or a big franchise, that's very rare. That's very rare. So that's why this showing of The Woman King, the box office showing, is shocking and surprising to some people. Now, this action drama cost $50 million to make. They spent $50 million making this film. And, right now, there's not a lot of big budget movies out. There's not a lot of big, movies in the theaters like that. They have actually been struggling, talking about the movie theaters, the chains. They've been struggling to get folks into the theaters. Now, I know some of you like, oh, I love going to the movies, but everybody ain't going to the movies, right? So it's like something comes out, maybe people are hitting the movies, but pre-pandemic, folks was going to the movies every weekend. Now it is not like that. It has to really be a big event for folks to really, really come to the movies. So, and then you also have the fact that there are studios having supply chain issues. What do I mean? These are caused by the pandemic. And a lot of studios are skipping theaters altogether and going straight for the streaming services. Because, a lot of folks just want to stay home or do something else, stream it how they see fit. So there are not a lot of big time movies in the theaters. So Woman King comes out, bam, takes the number one spot. A lot of folks got their panties in a bunch. Critics and audiences showered the film with raves, leading to a 95% critics score on the review site Rotten Tomatoes and a perfect A+ cinema score from ticket buyers. But you may have noticed online, some folks are upset, which goes back to what I said in the beginning. Inspired by true events. The film clearly is not married to the facts. So they used the underlying story of the 19th century female warriors in an African kingdom as the jumping off point for this action vehicle. And there's a lot of melodrama. You got a love story in there. I'm not going to spoil it for you. But the combination really results in a strong showcase for the stars, features a nice cast, a backdrop that serves as a refresh to the old school formula, the old school formula of filmmaking and storytelling. So why are some folks saying that there has to be a boycott of this movie? We should, not be supporting this movie. Why are some folks saying that? Some folks are mad. I personally venture to say some of the folks that are upset don't like the fact that this is a woman starred, directed, focused action drama where women are kicking men's butt. Some men are angry about that. So they want to zoom in on the fact that this is inspired by actual events and does not tell the actual history. This is not a historical this is not a documentary. This is a movie, which means that they are fast and loose with the actual history. But this happens in movies all the time. How do you think that? I mean, let's go back over the years when you talk about Cleopatra or folks from Egypt and they got white people playing it. That's historically incorrect. That ain't the way it was. Right? You got Tom Cruise as the last samurai. Really? He's not even Asian, right? Or, the stuff that happened with the debacle of the Harriet Tubman movie. And maybe I won't say debacle, but the Harriet Tubman movie, right? The Woman King is a movie. So are they fast and loose with the facts? A little bit, but they're not claiming to be a documentary, right? They're not claiming to be a documentary. So there are very few notable movies coming to the theaters until the Christmas season. So Woman King could continue to find an audience and rack up the sales at the ticket booth. And you're still going to have some folks saying, boycott the movie. How dare they not talk about the role that Africa played in the slave trade? It's ironic how many times we have seen movies that are inspired by true events not get it exactly the way it was, right? You had, what was it, Notorious, right? The movie about Biggie. Yeah, a lot of people say, oh, it wasn't happening like that. Where's this person? Where is that person? It's the movie. Can't fit everything in the movie. And they had a story that they wanted to tell. And was that the exact story? All Eyes on Me. Well, Tupac's biopic. Was that the actual story? Go to New Edition movie on BET. These are historical, these are inspired by true events and trying to tell their story. And I think that a lot of those may have held closer to the actual factual of the way things were than The Woman King did. But I love the concept. But there's a complicated history. Now, if you want to talk about the real story, we can do that. But this movie inspired by true events, but not an actual accounting. So don't boycott the movie. Don't listen to folks on the right who hate women, want to keep women in their place. The director of this movie also directed Love and Basketball, right? So she is venturing off into the world of action movies, and she's been doing her thing. So definitely, we got to salute to her. Gina Prince by the Wood. So this historical epic movie chronicles the trials and the triumphs of these lady warriors, and it's, to some, to see it, it really is going to be an eye opener, because Viola, she's believable in this role. All right, she's believable in this role. She committed to this role. The all-female special forces was also, this all-female special forces was, I don't know, like the inspiration for the women warriors in Wakanda. right? And the Black Panther sequel, Wakanda Forever, is probably going to focus even more closely on the women of Wakanda. So we're going to be seeing more imagery of strong women kicking butt, kicking butt. Um, Prince by the Wood, the director, she has credited Black Panther with helping to pave the way for this film, especially in an industry in which the stories of our people, people of color, have not always been prioritized by studios. They ain't always wanted to tell our stories or tell a story that featured us in a good light. Let me say that. So, The Woman King marks the first time that a major motion picture in this country has told the story of this African tribe of women who kick butt. It also addresses the role um, that was played in the slave trade. But here's the thing. Here's what it does. And this may upset some folks. It glosses over the fact that the king at the time only temporarily paused the kingdom's participation in 1852. Some folks think that they've glossed over the role that was played in the slave trade. Now, talk about you know, it's mind blowing when I hear that. But you know, if you do your research, you will see. You will definitely see the actual origins of these Amazon women. It's kind of cloudy. The first recorded mention of them dates back to 1729. 1729. One theory suggests that they began as a dedicated group of elephant hunters. Elephant hunters. And so you know, there's a lot of different theories out there, a lot of different theories. And you know, I think that folks need to go watch the movie. At the peak, the Agoji, this Amazon tribe of women, included as many as 6,000 members. 6,000 members. But while it is glossed over in the movie, there was a role that they played in slavery in the kingdom. There definitely was a role. It was very complex. Very complex. She experiences the horrors of slavery firsthand. And you know, like I said, I don't want to spoil it for folks. But you know, you're telling a story, and you know, you don't want to shy away from things, but also you're telling a part of the story, and the focus is about overcoming and fighting for what's right. So I think that they kind of balanced out. They kind of balanced out that, and what role they could, you know, what story they could tell with regards to that. Um, so 5% of slave exports came from that region, and it is a massive number of human lives. Massive number out of the total across Africa. It's a massive number when looked at the large number of 12.5 million people that were enslaved. Right? 5% of that. It's a large number. When European history is discussed, scholars acknowledge the continent's heavy involvement in the slave trade. Or at least they're starting to do that more now. Now, we also have to recognize the contributions that each nation made to the world. Neither existed without the other. So we're going to have plenty of time to consume the legacy of the Dahomey and the slave trade. But at the same time, like you do with any other continent or any other country, we also need to talk about the things that they did independent of this. The Agoji women of 1823, the ones who are portrayed in the movie, were not slave raiders. So it is interesting. I definitely encourage folks to go see it, check it out. Do not be I don't know, influenced to not support it because of something that you heard somebody say on the right. Some Republican leaning person that wants to shame it. Give it a chance. Check it out.